I've been thinking about you because I know you're stuck at home just the same way I am. Things feel very ambiguous. They're kind of chaotic, but also strangely still. I've been trying to think about how to tackle this new way of life. I've challenged myself to look at this situation with a different lens. And so I thought I'd share a quick story with you that might help you also look at things through a different lens. 2 years ago, I challenged myself to do a 300-mile charity bike ride. Now, I wasn't a cyclist, but I could certainly ride a bike. I also wasn't a fitness expert, but I was physically fit. I work out. When the day came for the bike ride, I knew it was going to be hard. It was meant to be a challenge. It was meant to push myself. I was okay with that. That's what I wanted, and that's what I expected. But what I hadn't anticipated was that the bike ride would be painful, like excruciatingly painful. Every time I pedaled, it felt like there were needles jabbing through my kneecaps. My neck became so tense that by the end of that first day, honestly, I could hardly walk. And I wondered, what had I done differently from the other riders? Why were they excelling while I was stagnating and I was in pain? I was fit after all. I didn't understand where I had veered off course. Since that bike ride, I had really challenged myself to figure out the answer to those questions. I wasn't content with the answers that most people gave me, which was, well, it was your first time. That's how these things go. They're always hard. No, there had to be something more than that. There had to be something actionable and specific that I could do differently. Since that bike ride, I've discovered that there were 3 lessons I actually learned. The first one is context is everything. 2, you have to ask what if. And 3, risk isn't always obvious. So let's break those down. Context is everything. Everyone thinks riding a bike is easy, and it is, but in a very specific context. Riding around in your neighborhood on flat land on a perfect day is completely different from riding over mountains, steep inclines, in 47-degree temperature as the rain is pouring down the entire time. A different context requires different techniques. The reason why I like this lesson so much is because all too often when something doesn't work out in our favor and we maybe aren't as successful as we had expected to be, we tend to attribute that to ourselves. We tend to think, well, I'm just not good enough, or I'm just not cut out for this. I should just quit. But that's inaccurate. It could simply be that you were using the wrong techniques for the context that you're in. The second lesson, you have to ask, what if? This is about anticipating all the different possible scenarios. What if it's cold? What if there are mountains? What if I fall? We don't like to ask these questions of ourselves because honestly, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to think about falling off my bike. I really don't. But if I can anticipate it and if I can practice falling down on grass, then I'm better equipped emotionally and also physically for the situation should it ever come up. And the third lesson is risk isn't always obvious. We tend to think that risky behavior is widely apparent, but it's not. It can often be really subtle. When we don't anticipate different scenarios, that's a risk. I had unwittingly taken a risk by not anticipating various scenarios. This might be one of my favorite lessons because it's a sneaky lesson. The thing is, sometimes we don't plan for different scenarios and things happen to work out in our favor. In that case, we were probably lucky. That luck can lull us into a false sense of security and a false sense of mastery. The thing is, luck can and often does run out. And the best way to protect ourselves is by being equipped to face various scenarios. At the end of the day, life is all about iteration. If something doesn't work out the first time, that's okay. Try it again, but try it in a different way. Success is less about talent or skill set, and it really has more to do with the way that we approach problems and the way that we make decisions. For the record, I did sign up for the bike ride again last year, and it went really well. I had trained better, I planned better, I made better decisions, and my performance vastly improved. Importantly, I was not in any pain and I enjoyed the ride. So while we're in quarantine and this sheltering in place is here for the foreseeable future, I don't know when it will end, I wish I did. But the thing is, it's important to see this with a different lens, to understand that this is simply a different scenario, it's a different context. So remember, the 3 lessons are: context is everything. We have to ask, what if? And third, risk isn't always obvious. I love you. Be well. If this helped in any way, drop me a comment and let me know, and maybe I'll come up with future videos. Love you. Bye.